Welcome to the Loan Arranger Radio Show with Bruce Woodburn CrossCountry Mortgage. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful weekend. I hope the races go okay this weekend and not completely rained out. If you are in Daytona, I hope you enjoy yourself. I went to the racetrack 3 times this week and just had a blast. If you're into fast cars, then that's right up my alley. So, I spent some time there, but we got a lot of things to cover. You know, this show is all about not just what's going on with real estate, but what's going on in the financial industry. Now, I don't talk about stocks and bonds and things so much. However, they are directly in relationship to what happens in the mortgage industry, and the mortgage industry is in direct proportion with what the health of the real estate industry is like as well. So we all know that if interest rates are higher, then the housing market will slow down. And that is what we've seen since February of 2022. The housing market slowed down. So, but what's really ironic, even though sales were down, home prices went up 3 to 6%. Can you imagine? So it really, some of these things don't even always make sense, because you would think if the supply and demand went down, or the demand went down, then the prices would go down, but they didn't. They went up. And that's why I'm always telling people it's very seldom the time not to buy. You look at investors. Investors aren't afraid of interest rates. Investors are buying big. Hedge funds are buying properties right now. Investors are not afraid to get in the market. Who is really afraid? Well, the first-time home buyer and the move-up buyer. And I understand why. It makes sense as to why you are in fear. But we need to put that fear in check, because fear will cost you money. And as my friend Warren Buffett says, be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. Right now, you should be greedy because others are fearful. It's your buying signal. You want to take cues from the smartest investor in the world, Warren Buffett, then do what he does. Buy when other people aren't buying, because that's your buy signal. People are in fear. So right now, you've got about 3 in 10 people that are willing to jump into the market. 2 months ago, it was only 2 in 10 people that are willing to jump into the market. Now you got 3 in 10 people willing to jump in the market, because interest rates have settled a little bit. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the show. But so now we've got a few more buyers, but we don't have 10 in 10 people jumping in. When that happens, you're going to see home prices skyrocket, literally go through the roof, and that will happen. But what's it going to take for that to happen? It's going to take interest rates to get a little bit better. So right now, I say, don't wait for interest rates to get better to buy. So I'm going to break this down for all of you, so you know where you set and what you should do. If you want to buy, don't wait for rates to go down. We can refinance you later. Marry the home, date the rate. We can change the interest rate. My clients that have mortgages with me do not pay any lender fees when it comes time to refinance. So I will refinance you, and we'll drop the rate when the rates drop. Excuse me. However, the reason I'm telling you to buy now is because if you wait for the home prices or you wait for interest rates to drop, you created 2 different issues. You created a higher demand because there's more people going to jump in the market, which means that you will have less homes to choose from. Right now, you have lots of homes to choose from. You got 4.5 months worth of inventory. Sellers are willing to work deals. Sellers are paying closing costs. I had a seller pay $19,600 towards closing costs for one of my buyers the other day. So listen, I'm seeing it every single day. They're willing to make repairs. They're willing to put new roofs on. They're willing to put in new, electrical wires and electrical boxes and plumbing and, do repairs. So sellers are motivated. If you wait for rates to drop, then now 10 in 10 people jump in. Sellers don't do anything. They're not going to fix the roof. They're not going to fix anything because they got 10 people wanting their house. And they can raise their price because they have a higher demand. So I tell you to buy now so you don't run up against a competitive issue, because there's nothing worse than a first-time home buyer making 5, 6, 7 offers and losing out on them when they made a full price offer. That will happen to you. So if you're a first-time home buyer and you don't have enough money to put 20, 30% down, you don't have enough money to pay over ask price or over appraised value, you don't have enough money to waive home inspections, then buy now. Now's your negotiating opportunity. So that's what I've got. I'm telling you, don't wait. Call me now, 407-706-3313 in my Orlando market. You can reach me all the way up to Jacksonville, Florida, down to Lakeland, Florida. My Tampa Bay phone number is 813-213-4009. Again, that's 813-213-4009. And my website for online applications is webringyouhome.com. Now, listen, if you're in the Orlando area and you are, or you know somebody that wants to buy a home and maybe they're a first-time home buyer, I'm going to be teaching a class on Tuesday, the 18th of February in Winter Park, Florida. The address is on my website, and I'm putting it on my YouTube channel right now. So if you go to Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger YouTube, you can see this show, and it's got the address on Lyman Avenue in Winter Park. So you will want to get into that class. It's from 6 to 8 o'clock in Winter Park on Tuesday, the 18th. I believe that's Tuesday, the 18th. Let me just look at my calendar, and that is correct. So you want to learn what programs are available for first-time home buyer. You want to learn what down payment assistance is available for first-time home buyer. You want to know how to get your credit scores up without having to pay somebody to do it. You want to know how to negotiate a transaction. You want to know how to negotiate closing costs being paid on your behalf. I'm telling you, this class, I only do one first-time home buyer class per year. One. That's it. I do a lot of home buyer classes. I do a lot of wealth building classes. I do a lot of investor classes, but one or two first-time home buyer classes. You will not want to miss this. This is a rare occasion. You'll want to go to webringyouhome.com and register immediately if you know anyone that wants to buy a home in this market and wants to learn what programs are available for them, how to get some government money. Again, webringyouhome.com. Go to my events page. You'll see it on my calendar. Register for the class immediately. It will fill up. I only bring about 30 people in this room. It's a small room. It's because I don't want a room with 100 people in it, and I'd be there all night and you get crazy questions. I want to get in relationship and help the people personally that want my help. So webringyouhome.com, call or text 407-706-3313 or 813-213-4009. For all of you people, I want to reach out to all of you and ask you a question. How many of you are just constantly getting spammed on your cell phones? How many of you are getting junk emails on a regular basis? Well, I'm going to tell you something. You're creating it yourself. Because when you go online and you shop for things, particularly that are for free, or subscribe to services that are free, like Credit Karma, TurboTax, Zillow, when you go on those sites, they capture your information and they know more about you than you ever thought they would. Your information is all over. And then they sell you, because they know you're in Zillow looking for a home or you're checking your credit, and then you're going to get bombarded. They sell that data. So if you don't want your tax information being sold to other companies, people that want to buy your information, even foreign countries, then don't do TurboTax for free. Go to a CPA, go to H&R Block, go to somebody that'll do your taxes legitimately and not sell your information into the secondary market, into people that'll buy it. Same with Credit Karma. Go to annualcreditreport.com, because as soon as you pull up your credit, your data is being sold all over the place and you're wondering why. It's because you're doing these things for free. When it's free, you are now the product. Now, I want to talk about going to Zillow to check out your home values. So many of my clients just like to track their home value. You're smart. You should. We want to know what your home values are doing. So when you do that on Zillow, you're now being sold, and now you're going to get 50,000 real estate agents calling you. If you don't want that, then register on my website. You'll see home value registration. Go to webringyouhome.com, go to home value, register there. You can check your home value. It will give you all the data that you could possibly ever want, but it gives you additional tools like, hey, how much extra do I need to pay for a 15-year payment? Or how much money could I pull out of my house for an equity loan? Or is it time to refinance yet? Which we're going to talk about in the next segment. You will not want to change stations during the break, because I'm going to talk to all of you that have thought about refinancing, and you will not want to miss this next episode. So, but if you're looking for your home value, go to my website, webringyouhome.com, register it in there. Nobody will solicit you when you go in to check your values, and you can even manipulate it, because I live on a lake. So Zillow doesn't even give me an accurate value. So I can go in there and look at other lakefront homes, and I can adjust my values based on my square footage, the quality of my home, being on a lake. So I can make those adjustments. You can't do that on Zillow. It just takes a broad range of the properties that have sold in your area and then determines your value from there. So go to webringyouhome.com, register there, and you can check your values out in this safety and security, and not be worried about being preyed upon. Okay. All right. So interest rates, they're always the hot topic, aren't they? Well, this week was kind of rocky, because Wednesday was not a good day in the market. We lost about 44 basis points on the bond market, but Thursday we did a nice recovery. So things are coming back. And even though interest rates aren't, nobody's jumping up and down about them, but they are definitely getting better. So the opportunity for you to get a better rate, to lower your rate, to purchase a home right now is an ideal time to do it, because interest rates, they are settling a little bit. So we had some, you saw the stock market lost 400 basis points on Wednesday. It was crazy. And the bond market was affected negatively as well. The reason for that was because the inflation numbers come out, but they're not even real inflation numbers, folks. I mean, I tell you what, the Fed is just a wacky job right now. And the inflation numbers, they said, we're concerned about inflation. And of course, the market goes crazy because of concerns about inflation. Well, we've been in concerns about inflation for the last 5.5 years. Okay. Inflation has been looming since Biden got into office. All right. It's been a problem. So it's still a problem. It will get better. But when the Fed utters that inflation could be a problem, then inflation is the arch enemy of the bond market. And as you know, because you listen to me on a regular basis, mortgages are tied to the 10 and the 30-year bond. And when that bond yield deteriorates, you start to see interest rates go up. So we saw a bump on Wednesday. We saw an improvement on Thursday and Friday. So hang in there. Things are getting better. The Trump bump is definitely there. But you have to remember, things can, even though Trump is going to get the economy going, and I believe that, and I know you do too, I want you to hear, when I come back from this next break, how that could negatively affect things. Because here you get the whole story. You don't get the sales pitch. You don't get the rah. You get the real meat of the subject. So don't go anywhere. We're going to talk about how the economy can affect interest rates moving forward. And we're going to talk about what are interest rates doing, what are the trends doing, and where are the opportunities. So don't go anywhere. My name is Bruce Woodburn. I'm the Lone Ranger. 407-706-3313 or 813-213-4009 or webringyouhome.com. I'll be right back.